Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Assalamualaikum everyone, this is HABRI. He's on a mission to buy a rare gaming console. And this is Kisha, the seller. But this is not just any sale, it's a modern lesson in contract law.
When someone posted an item online for sales without a fixed price, it's not usually an offer, it's an invitation to treat, an invitation to negotiate. Harvey thinks he's about to make a deal, but he's missing something crucial here. Here's the problem. Harvey thinks Kisha just make a legal binding offer, but actually, Kisha just give information. When making an offer, there must be a clear intention to create legally bound. Kisha's message was just an invitation to treat, a way to start negotiation, not a commitment to sell.
DAMIA, I already buy the new gaming console. They literally told me the price. That means it's selling, right?
I guess so, because that sounds like a deal to me.
Seriously? He already sell it somewhere else.
He sold it to somewhere else?
Yeah.
Hey, wait. Based on what I remember from business law class, there's the same case as this in between Harvey against Facey in 1893, if I'm not mistaken.
So Harvey asked Facey for her lowest price of the land, and Facey gave a price of £900. Harvey then accepted and wanted to buy it. Mr. Spector, was that a deal?
Your Honor, Facey gave a price and Harvey accepted it, so that's basically a contract.
I beg to differ, Your Honor. Actually, Facey just answered about the lowest price, and Harvey is the one who offered to buy. But she did not accept it, so there is no contract.
After reviewing the telegrams, the court finds that Facey's statement of the lowest price was simply providing information, not a definite offer to sell. Harvey's subsequent telegram was an offer to buy, which Facey did not accept.
Okay, Damia. Yes, that's good. At least you remember what I told you in class. The issue here is that an offer must clearly show an intention to create legal relations. Harvey's message was just trying to prove that he is stating the price, like saying that he is selling the console game for a certain price, right? That's not a promise to sell. Instead, to the first person who agrees, it is an invitation to trade.
So, giving a price doesn't mean he has to sell?
Exactly. If, let's say, Harvey said that he is willing to sell it to you for a certain amount of price, let's say we put it here around £900, that would have been an offer, but here, he was just stating the price only. No intention to create a legally bound.
So let's settle this once and for all. So Harvey, do you have anything to say?
Sir, I asked Kisha if she wanted to sell his gaming console, and she stated the lowest price is £900, and I immediately accepted. That is the deal, right?
So do you think that was an offer?
Yeah, sure. Because she stated the price, and why she stated the price if she doesn't want to sell it?
So Kisha, do you have anything to reply?
Sir, I never agreed to sell it. I only answered his question about the lowest price. That's all.
But you gave me the price. Isn't that enough?
No, actually, it is not enough. The key is intention. Just by giving a price, it's not a binding offer. It's like when you walk into a store and you see a price tag. The price tag does not define that the store is selling to you. It does not work that way.
So in conclusion, Harvey's statement was just a request for information, while Kisha's reply was just to provide information to Harvey. So therefore, there was no legally binding contract between them. So therefore, there was no offer and acceptance and buying or selling.
Okay, so how should a contract be formed in this situation?
When forming a legally binding contract, 4 essential ingredients must be present. Firstly is offer, which means a clear and definite statement by one party, which is the offeror, that they are willing to be legally bound if the other party accept, which means I will sell to you, not saying I might. It must be clear and specific. Second is acceptance, what it means an unconditional agreement to all terms of the offer, no changes, no condition, just a yes. For example, when Harvey said he want to buy a land for £900, actually he cannot state that because that's a counter offer. And then the third one is consideration, which is something of value that each party gives to other. It can be money, goods, services, or even a promise to do or not to do something. A contract with no consideration, no exchange is usually not valid. And then lastly is intention to create a legal relations. Both parties must intend that the agreement is legally enforceable, which is like a business deal. The courts usually assume intention exists in business deal but not in personal or family agreement unless it's proven otherwise.
Statistical Society of Great Britain and Boot Cash Chemist 1953, where the display of goods in a self-service store was not considered an offer to sell, but an invitation to trade. This case reminds us that providing information such as a price or product display does not automatically create a contract. Instead, a binding contract forms when the buyer makes an offer and the seller accepts it.
Okay, next, I have a question for you. What is the Islamic perspective related to this conflict?
From an Islamic perspective, the Sharia supports the judgment of the court in Harvey against Facey, as there should be full clarity, mutual understanding and clear ijab and kabul or offer and acceptance by all parties involved. This is also related to a hadith from the Prophet ﷺ where he states, the buyer and the seller have the option of cancelling or confirming the bargain unless they separate. And if they spoke the truth and made clear the defects of the goods, then they would be blessed in their bargain. And if they told lies and hide some facts, their bargain would be deprived of Allah's blessing. The interpretation by the ulama has that this hadith implies that transparency and clear intentions are needed in contract forming and therefore aligns with the court judgment.
What kind of issues will arise if the case never existed? Firstly, uncertainty in commercial transactions. Business will face difficulty determining when a contract has been formed, especially when one party provides a price quotation. Misinterpretations could lead to disputes over whether a contract was actually concluded. Secondly, increased litigation. Without a clear precedent, parties might frequently take legal action, arguing that a price statement constituted a binding offer. This could clog the courts with contract disputes. Thirdly, risk in commercial negotiations. Negotiators might hesitate to state prices or terms for fear of unintentionally forming contracts. This could hinder open discussions and make business dealings less efficient. What if the case never existed? If the case never existed, there will be less judicial clarity on the distinction between an offer and a mere statement of price. The case established a key legal principle. A statement of the lowest price in response to a query does not constitute an offer. Without this precedent, parties might mistakenly believe that quoting a price during negotiations legally binds them to a contract. As a result, future cases will lack a clear reference point for distinguishing between invitations to treat and offers. This could lead to inconsistent judgments and greater uncertainty in contract law.
Now, we will look at what does the law from other country or religion say about this case. First, English and US common law. Under this system, a price quota is not considered a valid offer. It's viewed as an invitation to trade, meaning an invitation to negotiate. Since there was no firm offer, no contract could be formed. Next, civil law, France and Germany. In civil law system, the focus is on the intention to be bound. Just stating a price is not enough. There needs to be clear intent to make a contractual offer. Since that was missing again, no contract is recognized. Next, Islamic law Sharia. Islamic law requires both an offer known as ijab and acceptance or kabul, with clear intent from both parties. Merely stating a price doesn't fulfill this requirement, so no contract exists under Sharia either. Next, Indian contract law. Indian's contract law closely follows English principle. A price alone isn't a valid offer. Without a definite offer and acceptance, there can be no binding agreement. Lastly, universal outcome. So across all the systems, common law, civil law, Sharia and Indian law, the conclusion is same. Facey's reply was not a valid offer, therefore no contract was formed.